We launched Biz Video in 2011, and for us, the biggest challenge at that time was trying to figure it all out and not having someone there to help us through the process. On the very first episode of the Videographer podcast, we want to reflect on the things we wish we knew when we were younger, in the hopes that we could bring together the next generation of videographers and elevate the industry as a whole.
Before me finishing uni, you were already in the industry as a freelancer for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's a lot of things that you went through and problems and hurdles that you had and all our Biz Video years. But if I ask you the question today, what would you tell your younger self?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, everything's so much easier in hindsight. So it's easy for me to go and say, oh, I would have done this different and everything. I finished university. I studied Bachelor of Film and Television, got a degree in that. A few of my classmates, they got jobs in the film industry. They started really on the lower ranks. So like runners, grabbing coffees, stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't want to go down that route. I wanted to go into business. I've always been entrepreneurial. When I finished uni, there was this gap between me finishing uni and then 2 years later you finished uni. So 2 years there, I was on my own and I tried everything to get this thing going, make some money, right? Make money out of what I just studied. I've got a huge uni bill, all that kind of stuff, debt. And so going back to that stage there, I just tried everything and I swear I didn't do anything right.
Yeah, because you did so many things and you had to try so many things.
Yeah. And a classic was I went into weddings, right?
Yeah.
Which is easy because people are getting married, there's a need for it. You could look at competition, you can see what they're pricing. But yeah, if you've ever done weddings, like anyone listening or watching this, you'll find soon that it's a pretty hard gig to keep going. Like when you're young and you're ambitious and you go for it, I think it's a great business model.
Yeah.
But I think long term it's a bit of a hard one.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to be out there as a creative, weddings can be all very much the same.
Yeah, especially on weekends and stuff.
And weekends, and when you start getting a family or a girlfriend or a wife or whatever, then things change too. Like you don't want to be there on weekends.
Yeah.
So now, I guess if we jump into, we're going to uncover 3 topics.
Yep. If
we start with the first thing, what would you tell your younger self to really focus on?
Yeah, I mean, number one is understand business, really understand it. And I'm talking about, some of the core fundamentals of business. You've got marketing, you've got sales, you've got operations, and then you've got the other side of things like finance and admin, which is kind of like the glue that glues everything together, makes sure everything runs. That's the very first thing that I would go back to and is invest time and money into understanding business.
When you finished, you had obviously a lot more understanding around film, and that kind of stuff.
And they don't teach you anything about business.
Anything about business. So you had no previous You just figured out that was going to be an important thing.
I looked into business and everything, but it was disjointed. So you want to find a source, a mentor, or some books or whatever that can give you a basic understanding of business as a whole. Just that one. Don't try and get I definitely suggest getting books and courses just on marketing or just on sales or just on operations or whatever, but get something where it's a big picture view of what business is all about. Because if you're a freelancer, chances are you love the craft. If you don't love the craft, then you should probably not be a freelancer, go do something else. But let's assume you love the craft, whatever that is, video, photo, graphic design, whatever, in the creative side of things. Assuming you're good with that craft, you have to really get on top of marketing, sales, and also operations in terms of systems and processes. Yeah.
Okay, so if I kind of summarize what you've just said, let's say a freelancing person, they've been running a few years, doing what they do. Instead of so what they've got to do is they've got to understand a bit more of the business side. Now they might already understand a bit, and instead of just jumping into one specific thing like pricing or sales or marketing or admin or finance, it's kind of going from a macro level. Get some resources, books, mentors that can kind of give you a bit of a structure overall. Because there's probably you can go 6 to 10 different things within a business that makes a business keep ticking. So go from an overall perspective, set all that up, And then as then times, because then that side gets you on like the right journey. And then as you progress, then you can start diving into like specific topics like sales, pricing.
That's it. Yeah. Go like level 1. What's my level 1? What's the most basic, simple way I can like run this business? And when I say business, it could literally just mean your freelancing business,
Exactly.
right? So you have to see yourself as a business. You probably have an ABN or something if you're in Australia, which means, I know it's ABN is for like companies and also for sole traders, but really that's a business in a way. So you've got to see yourself as this operational kind of like business.
100%.
Yeah. So level 1, get your marketing, sales, operations, finance, and admin, everything intact, and then later on, then you can go deeper into some sections where you can see opportunity in. Yeah. Because the thing is, the reason why I say this on that first level is like get clear on that first level is because everything is interconnected. If you just do a little bit here, a little bit there, and you miss out on like some parts of marketing and some parts of sales, let's say for example, like some sort of agreement or some sort of go ahead from the client, then it doesn't matter what you do leading up to that. So everything is interconnected. Yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome. Well, let's keep moving on. Number 2. Talk to us about.
Yes, I mean, I just spoke about like level 1, but I think a very important part that everyone's got to get really good at is mastering sales. Okay, so
sales, that word sometimes is a bit scary.
Yeah, like
it's.
I think a lot of creatives, they don't like sales or the word sales because they're scared of selling.
Or asking for money.
Yeah. Look, the thing is, you're in business, you need money. That's the value exchange. You're giving something really valuable to the client. And I'll talk a little bit about that in 1 second. And in return, they pay you. So you're paying them and they're paying you. That's how you want to see it. There's nothing bad about it. As soon as you can get over that insecurity, I was always super insecure about money, finance. I didn't want to bring it up. I would have meetings and then after this meeting, it just didn't go anywhere. And then, it was just like, then it's like awkward. Like, how do I now quote this person?
That's it. It's just a common thing of, cool, man. Like, it was great catching up. What I'll do is I'll go and set up a bit of a proposal and I'll send it through to you. And then you just walk away from that meeting. You're like, I don't even know what I'm going to quote. And I don't even think the guys are going to want to invest what that is.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't had a meeting like that for I don't know how long now. Someone's coming to you. You want to, and I'll talk about that in 1 second, but you want to have something ready. You want that conviction to be able to go, yeah, man, like I can help you there. Here it is. So, that's like the intro for this topic.
Cool.
But we've got like 3.
Dive into it.
Yeah, we've got 3 subtopics within this topic. So within sales, the first one with sales is you want to understand what clients or agencies or whoever you're freelancing to, what they're actually buying from you.
So just explain that a bit.
All right. You want to understand what clients, agencies, let's call it the client, whether it's an agency, whether it's a business, doesn't matter. You need to understand what they are buying from you. Most freelancers and so on, they get it wrong. They think the client is buying their time and equipment.
And that took us a few years, the first few years of Biz Video, that time thing. Wasn't so much the equipment, like that we're shooting with Reds or Aries or whatever cameras, but it was the time thing sometimes.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of people, I've heard this around. It's like, oh, you should hire out your equipment. You should charge that onto the client. And, if you understand it from a client's point of view, that's just annoying.
Very.
Like seeing that. I'm not saying you shouldn't, because, I mean, obviously you've got your equipment, but you've got to understand first, what is the value that you buy, that they buy from you.
Okay, so how do you find that out? Like, how do you understand? Because I think we think in our minds as freelancers or as video people that the client is investing in me because I'm going to shoot with this camera.
Yeah.
I'm going to be shooting with this lighting. Yeah. And this many hours. It's going to be 2 days of coverage.
Yeah, I mean, look,
how do you overcome that?
The best way to say this is, how many videos do you think we've created in Biz Video? Like, it's been like, I don't know, 5,000 the other day when I checked Wistia.
Yep.
How many of those clients of those videos, it's not 5,000 clients because obviously we did heaps of multiple videos for clients. How many of those clients asked us what equipment we shot with?
Rarely. Unless the guy was like a camera fanatic.
Yeah, and they were just curious.
Yeah.
But seriously, no one's ever asked us. We've never had a camera that's more expensive than, I don't know. Like the most expensive cameras we've had is like R5Cs, and we don't even use that for client work. So really,
so what do you do then? Like, what do you do then if you don't talk about cameras and coverage and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I think the thing is that is just in the freelancer's mind because that's all they know, right? Like with me, I was at school. I got into photography and video. I did some videos around school, and then I went and studied it. That was all I was thinking, right? So in my mind, the whole time, I thought that's what people buy from us. Get a video, like you buy a video, but it's not. So this is the secret. And I mean, if you've been in business at all, you would understand this. And so it's not about your hours or the equipment. It's about the value that you provide to the client. It's about what problem are you solving for them. It's about the outcome.
Okay, so can you give us a quick example, not to kind of go too deep with this?
Yeah, so a lot of freelancers and videographers think, let's assume you shoot a video and you edit it and you give it to a business. If they grasp this thing of like the client's buying an outcome, they will probably say, okay, well, the outcome is the video, but it's not. Like you have to understand, you have to ask yourself the question, why is the client buying this video from me? And you could literally ask the client that. And on a surface level, they'll say, well, I'm buying it so that I can put it on my website. That's the why. But don't settle for that. You've got to go deeper. You've got to go, okay.
Ask why again.
Yeah, ask. So it's called the 5 whys. You don't have
so good.
Yeah,
so
it's amazing. So you just go, okay, cool. Why do you want to put it on your website? Well, at the moment, we don't have a video. Okay, well, why is it important for you to have a video on your website? Oh, well, so that when people get to it, they can watch something. Okay, why is it important for you to have a video on your website so that when someone goes on your website that they can watch it? Oh, well, I need them to understand what our business is all about. Okay, cool. Why do you need to know why do they need to know about what your business is all about? Oh, well, we need them to buy from us. We need them to trust. Ah, interesting. That's the outcome. Now you can go even deeper. Why do you want them to buy from you? Well, we've got a business here. We've got to make money. Why do you have to make money? Well, if I don't make money, we won't have a business, our team, all that stuff. So you can dig as deep as possible. Why?
And it gets more emotional and more specific as you dive deeper.
Yeah, and I wish I knew the 5 whys early on because...
It's so simple.
Yeah, it's so simple. I would have just gone... Because, see, this is the thing, like, especially when you're starting out, you're in survival mode. You just want to make money. You've got to make money. So now you're trying to sell, like the old way of like selling in quotation marks.
Yep.
You're trying to go like, this is why you should buy from me. This is why I'm the best. I've got red camera. I've got this whatever, drone, right? Doesn't matter. What your job as in sales is to see whether or not you will get a good outcome for that client. Okay. So you've got to go, why? If they give you some weird answer and it's not a good fit, then you literally just go, look, I don't believe if I create a video for you, you will have a good outcome. I don't think we should do this. That's sales.
That's right.
Right? Or the other side, hey, I understand what outcome you want to achieve. I understand you want to build trust with your audience. I understand that they need to buy from you so that your business can make money. You need to create that perception that you can actually help people, all that kind of stuff. I think I can really help you. So now all of a sudden, do you think they're going to be asking you about what equipment you're using? Or is it going to be about something different? It's about that outcome.
That's it.
So yeah, that's what I would say in terms of this, understanding what the client's buying from you.
And that's a big topic. Like that's something we'll explore more on, like, because that's very sales perspective. And there's really easy ways to I guess that sales word is always a scary word for everyone. But if you implement this kind of thinking, it changes the world.
Yeah, and maybe we should just quickly go into like what should freelancers do that do work for agencies, okay? Because it's the same kind of thing. You want to understand why the agency is getting you. Again, it's not about the hours or the equipment. We have a lot of freelancers that shoot for us, and a lot of them do this wrong. Okay, they will charge based on like the amount of hours, and also like equipment and travel and everything else like that. They've never asked, like some of them have never asked us like, what's most important to you guys?
Yeah,
and then we state what's important.
There's maybe a couple of them that have, but like the majority haven't. They don't think about it.
Yeah, so that they haven't like established like what's important to us and why that's important. So what's important for us is, and should I give this away as an example?
Well, as an example, I can just jump in there without you giving, getting off track. It's like, it comes back to like us wanting our subcontractor videographer freelancers to work well with our clients, for example. Yeah. That's like one thing.
And outcome specific, right?
Yeah.
So clients come to us to get an outcome from us. The freelancer plays a small part of us accomplishing that outcome. So it's about telling a really good story. It's about getting really beautiful shots, getting enough coverage for the editors to tell that story. It's about, if things run later that day, that, then the contractor's not just going to go, sorry, my time's up, I'm going to go. It's about like being flexible.
Yep.
Both ways. If the shoot finishes 3 hours before, we don't care. We're not going to pay less. If it goes 3 hours later, we don't want to pay more. It's about, again, a specific outcome. I think a lot of people have been taught this thing like, oh, your time is worth. Your time is worth nothing if you don't look at what outcome you help people achieve. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, because if you don't do that job, if you don't do that work, you're sitting at home. How much is your time worth now?
Yeah,
negative.
Yeah,
right. So your time's not worth anything. So you got to get off that track of like, I'm worth this. This is my time. My time is worth it. Yeah.
So what's the subtopics for sales?
Yeah. So I mean, I would read a lot of like pricing books. Get your head around like what value is. Value is a very hard word to understand. Even if you think you understand it, you probably don't. I understand value really, really well. And I think I don't even understand what it is.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So you've got to like invest in like reading up a lot about value. Yeah. And then the next one is like keep your pricing and everything really simple. Put some structures in place. I can't really give you examples here that you can actually implement because your business model might look completely different to everyone. But all I can say is like have some pricing on pages just for yourself, ready to go, so that when you do have a meeting or when an agency is getting you to like do some work, you've got something ready. You don't have to like go think about it, put energy into that, because a lot of times that can drag out. Agencies need pricing straight away, as soon as possible. Yeah. So for us, for example, when we partner with freelancers, we need to know their rates so that we can incorporate that in what we do for our clients.
Yep.
And then also for other businesses, you've got to have those things like just perfect.
Yeah.
And you don't have to show the pricing if you don't think, if someone comes to you with an idea, I want to do this video, it's going to be like a feature film of my business, or it's like a solo business, like a window cleaning guy, right? And it's like, I want to do this feature film of my business, I want to put it on Netflix, it's got to be like shot with reds and all this stuff. You're going to go, okay, cool, that's going to cost like $5 million. This is an exaggeration.
Yeah.
You're not going to even like go waste your time to create that quote to show him that he might be turning over $200,000 a year, right? And then you go, yeah, this feature film's going to be $5 million, and he'll be like, cool, yeah, I'll get back to you. So that's what you'll hear.
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating there. You need to go, Bob or whoever your name is. I love your idea. I love your passion, your creativity. I don't think it's doable. I don't think you're going to get a good outcome with your investment that you have there. Yeah,
but so I think just in that case, like if you had someone like a window cleaner come up and want to do that, that's where you've got to use the 5 whys. Go like, but why do you want that? Okay, but why do you want that then? Because then it might come down towards the end of the meeting and he'll go, yeah, I probably don't need it for Netflix, and probably doesn't need to be a feature film. It can be like just a solid 3-minute story or something. And then you'll kind of help him, guiding him in the right direction. Because remember, he's a window cleaner. He probably doesn't know about anything marketing or videos and so on. Yeah,
and I mean, you could literally ask the question, like, when you get to the why, go, is that worth, $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 in your mind? And they might go yes or no, or yeah, it's probably worth like 10. If I solve that problem or if I get that outcome, yeah, it's probably worth $10,000. And then it's like, okay, cool. So we've got something to work with there, and then go from there.
Yeah. Cool.
So I won't get too much deep
let's
into
keep going.
that. So that's topic number 2.
Great. Okay. So topic number 3.
Yep.
This one is huge. Like, and a lot of people know about it, but it's it's something that if you could master this, man, it changes so much.
Yeah. And I mean, this is for any business out there. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter if you sell clothes. Doesn't matter if you're in like the services business, product business, whatever. The one disclaimer I just want to put in here is stop looking around at other videographers, agencies or whatever. Stop looking at what their focus is. So this third topic is niche. You want to choose a niche, okay? And again, stop looking at other agencies, videographers, and looking what their niche is and then copying that. There's so much nuance there, and you're going to go down a road that you might not even like. Okay, so one thing I would say when it comes to niching, these are the things you want to think about. Number one is like, okay, assuming I'm doing this in the next, like, let's say 10 years from now, I'm sitting here where I am right now. I'm extremely happy. Am I happy with the niche I've chosen here?
Yep.
Right. So let's say, for example.
So from a passion perspective.
Yeah, from a passion perspective.
That you enjoy. Yep.
Yeah. I think this passion thing is important because if you love what you do, it's going to be easier.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is.
So, and it's not the biggest thing because if you're in business, you want to make money. So if you choose something that you're passionate about and there's just no commercial like value there, there's no opportunity there, you're going to have to find something else that you might be passionate in that's got commercial value. There's actually money. There's people that would invest in what you do. Okay. So let's say, for example, you're passionate about stamp collecting. And I'm just going to assume there's no money really involved there. Like no one's going to pay you to do a video on stamp collection. Doesn't matter how passionate you are. It's going to be hard to like make a business out of it. Okay. And again, like there might be a lot of money in stamp collecting. I don't know. It's just an example. So you want to choose something that you are like passionate about. And then number two, and I just mentioned it before, is there opportunity there?
Yeah.
Are there big pain points, big problems that you can solve with your storytelling, whether it's photos, video?
Why?
Yeah. So you can run the why exercise with yourself, but you have to choose some sort of niche, and it's around like the industry. It could be around the style of videos that you create. So it's like a repeatable process. Remember, business is about selling something in a repeatable way. Okay. Even if the videos are slightly different or whatever, but there's got to be some sort of format. So if you look at like, let's say YouTubers, for example, the most successful YouTubers out there have found their format, their style. That's kind of like their niche. So they've got a specific audience and also a specific structure in their videos and the theme and what they talk about. Yeah.
Because just to kind of put perspective around it, like as a videographer, if you've been working, say, for 2 years, you're probably finding that there's a couple industries that you're really like getting a lot of like more work from.
Yeah.
And then sometimes like that's a good starting point to kind of look at that.
Yeah.
And then kind of go, cool, okay, well, I like that industry. And you'll find one thing with niching is that if you niche, you're not just going to do that niche. Like the way you market and sell will be for that niche, but you'll still have other work coming in. To this day, what is it now? 12 years since we started BizVideo. You know, we've niched a lot, and we're niching every day, even more and more and more and more. But there's still other people coming in that we're still helping.
Yep.
So don't feel like you're now having to like, because you're choosing one thing, you've got to now like not do these guys anymore. Yeah. The other industries or whatever.
Yeah, I think people are scared about niching, about going all in, but that's something I would tell my younger self, just go all in.
Set roots, because it's really like going, you know what, I'm going to go for this industry, let's say window cleaning, and you go for it, because then why is that important?
You can learn as much as possible from that industry and actually become like an expert in that industry. Yeah. And it's so valuable, like, because then they look to you as the expert to help them solve that problem.
So it's like a win-win, because you get really good at that industry, and they come to you going, wow, like you're the only one of the, say, videographers that really understand this. That's awesome. And I guess, how would you kind of, just with that last topic of niching, what's one thing that if someone's listening here today and they're at that point where they're doing a work for a lot of different industries.
So they might have been working for a while.
Yeah, they've been working, let's say a couple of years. Let's say they've done at least 10 to 15 projects.
Yeah.
What would you say to them as like a logical next step to get them moving in the right direction with niching?
Yeah, I mean, if you've been doing it for a while, look at what you've loved doing. At the exact same time, look at what's been most profitable for you as well. Yeah, so I think those two things, and something that, and you can see yourself going deeper in that kind of like niche or focus into the future. Yeah.
And I just add something onto that. That's something that I think sometimes as creators and as artists and whatever you kind of see yourself as, sometimes like we really want to do this kind of stuff, but you've got to go and say, cool, like who's willing to pay for it, and kind of find that mid ground. Like I would love to just go and shoot like Netflix
golf videos,
golf video. Let's say golf documentaries or whatever.
Yeah.
But I know there's not the opportunity right there. So what else can I do that I can still enjoy, but I can make a living from it because I've got a family at home?
Yeah, that's it. And there's a saying like, you know, the grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah.
Like there's an even better saying, the grass is greener where you water it.
Yeah.
So if you always look around and you go, oh, Biz Video is doing so well, like with builders, like maybe I should try that. There are so many people are copying us. And I've noticed so many people copy us. 3 months later, they're onto a different niche. They niche jump, right? So choose something, go deep, water it.
Yeah.
You can't try and water all this different grass. Like there's limited time, especially if you're like solo, or even like if you have a business partner, or even if you have a small team of like 5, or even us, like we've got an internal team here of like 12 people. If we started doing all these different niches, we'd go nowhere. Yeah,
It would create chaos.
it'll create
Literally.
chaos. Yeah.
So yeah.
So choose something, go deep. I know it takes like, it's a risk, but it's worth like.
Oh, it's so worth it.
It's worth it. Yeah.
No, that's awesome, man. Thanks so much, Corno. Thanks
No
for
worries.
your time this morning. Yeah, looking forward to future podcasts.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would leave everyone with is like in the comments, maybe just comment like what you want in the next few podcasts.
Yeah.
Like what are some of your burning questions? We'd love to help from our end.
Yep.
We've been doing this for 12 years. We love doing what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And like, I wish I could go back in time and just tell my younger self like what to do better.
Man.
Yeah.
It's been fun, the journey, trying to overcome a lot of stuff. But yeah, like you say there, 100%.
Yeah. So just chuck it in the comments.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks,
Sweet.
Corno.
Thanks,
Cheers.
man.